Thank you, Chairman Carper, for calling this business meeting and for your commitment to continuing our bipartisan efforts. I'm very proud that we're here with our WRDA legislation today. As we know, Congress authorizes water resources projects and sets national policies for the Civil Works program of the U.S. Corps of Engineers. The work of the Corps protects the lives and livelihoods of millions of Americans and facilitates commerce throughout this country and internationally. If you look at the different projects, you can see the vastness of our nation just displayed throughout this bill. Since 2014, Congress has enacted WRDA legislation every 2 years. Under our former chairman, we did this as well, and I'm thrilled that we reached a bipartisan agreement to continue that tradition of addressing our nation's water resources needs. In addition to the chairman, I also want to thank Senators Cardin and Kramer. We are the 4 C's, which means commitment, for their leadership on the subcommittee on transportation and infrastructure. Your support and partnership during this process was integral to reaching this solid agreement. I would also like to thank your staff, Mr. Chairman, and in particular, your staff director, Mary Francis. And I'm just going to go through the first names: John, Maley, Tyler, Jordan, and Milo. Thank you all very much. And on my side, I'd like to thank Adam, my staff director, and also Murphy, Kim, Jacob, Catherine, and Max for their dedication and their long hours of work on this. Today proves again the ability of this committee to develop bipartisan infrastructure legislation that addresses the needs of our members and the communities they represent. True to the Corps' tradition, this bill moves forward projects that will benefit both local communities and the entire country. For example, we are authorizing a significant project for coastal storm risk management on the coast of Texas that will ensure critical port assets can continue to serve our country's shipping and supply chain needs moving forward. This project will help mitigate the worst impacts of hurricanes for local communities. It will also provide a vital corridor for our nation's energy industry. As this committee has heard during its oversight hearing on the Corps' response to Hurricane Ida, when constructed, these coastal projects work to prevent the worst effects of storm and storm damage. And while this bill is very much oriented towards advancing critical projects in our state, it also includes several policy changes that will help the Corps succeed better in its mission. At the beginning of the process, I outlined some of the areas in which I believe change would be beneficial. I said we needed to ensure more effective delivery of projects and reduce the confusion that some of our communities have experienced in dealing with the Corps. This bill includes several provisions that will improve flexibility with regard to financial accounting for projects. It requires reporting on timelines for the environmental review process for projects, and it authorizes for the first time a dedicated research and development account for the Corps to spur innovation and provides contracting flexibility in undertaking these activities. It opens the black box of the Corps by bolstering the agency's technical assistance authorities and providing a new advisory committee for non-federal interests to voice their opinions on how the Corps can better meet their water resources needs. The input of non-federal interests of the Corps is critical. We've had testimony to that effect, and we preserve the integral role of non-federal cost-share partners in the project delivery process by avoiding mandates from D.C. In addition to my role as ranking member, I represent the great state of West Virginia, and I work to address several of the needs of my home state, and I'd share a few highlights. This legislation advances a critical flood control project in the city of Milton, West Virginia. Authorized in the 90s, this project is a long time coming, and I'm proud to have helped forward it. The bill also supports flood control studies for the Kanawha River Basin and the city of Huntington, and it continues to provide environmental infrastructure assistance to communities throughout my state. In closing, there's a lot in this bill for both sides of the aisle for communities across the country. It is the culmination of a true bipartisan effort and represents our shared goal of addressing our nation's water resources needs. I urge my colleagues to support this legislation. Today, we're also voting, as you know, on GSA resolutions and the nomination of Benny Wagner to serve as Inspector General of the TVA. Thank you for your continued partnership, Chairman Carper, as we find ways to work together and get things done for our country.